She has been lights out her last few games on the defensive side of the ball. Katie Collins wearing number 25. She's just a freshman, and she's been asked to play a lot of basketball, just turning 18 years old in November, taking on a bunch of 20-year-olds down low. So that's been a big turning point for her in her college career. And towards the Cornell side, without Summer Parker Hall, you bring Emily Pape out. Clark Jackson makes another start. Rachel Kaus, just her third start of the season, usually the sixth woman off the bench for the Big Red. 90th all-time meeting. Penn has won the last 14 matchups, the longest streak here in the Ivy League. Collins and Pape, and you're underway here on this Saturday afternoon from Ithaca, New York. This Penn offense, 42% inside the arc. That's third in the Ivy League. A very methodical shooting team. Gale knifing to the basket, and Penn, they open it first. From Woodstock, Georgia, is Gale, coming off 3 for 11 shooting against Dartmouth. Wants to improve that. And Coach McLaughlin talks about Gale and just her confidence as a sophomore, playing right around 32 minutes a game. Here's Clark Jackson. Penn comes out here in a little bit of a 2-3 zone. House the swing, angles wide open for 3. Off the mark, Pape the rebound, towering down low. Cornell can reset. Jackson so good with her front step towards the basket, can't hit. Really good guard is Clark Jackson. Has scored 10-plus in 5 games, but has been quiet during her last 4. And Cornell's been quiet. They have lost 6 of their last 7. Sanaya Caldwell just making her third start. No Sarah Miller here, the freshman on the Penn side. Offensive foul goes against Penn. Around a screen, there was Katie Collins. Off ball, Cornell basketball. Neither side has been in extreme foul trouble of late, but we go back to it. The rebounding and just the lack of shooting has hurt both teams in their first 2 Ivy games. Sophomore guarding Kilgo has started every game. Here's Angles. Jackson inlet pass poked away. Penn takes it the other end. Sanaya Caldwell, the junior, replacing Sarah Miller in that starting role. She's wide open from downtown. Book it. Penn 5-0 run here to begin. 31% from deep is Caldwell, and Penn brings this press to kind of slow everything down for Cornell. They'll get over half court, taking really 9 seconds over to get to the timeline. Emily Pape, the team's leading scorer, 12.5 points per game, can't hit. Cornell 0 for here to begin at home. Sawyer wide open. Shot is long. Long rebound by the Cornell bench. Gale can't get it. It's Big Red basketball. So Emily Garner in her first season, she understands the hardest thing to do right now is be consistent with a new lineup, understanding new players. And when you don't have Parker Hall in your lineup, it's really finding new combinations. That's a big thing that she talked about this week, and it's going to be a test for this group. Kilgo, slicing. Pape, she was blocked. One more chance. Collins, the freshman, the smothering defense against the junior. Coach McLaughlin talked about Collins, how consistent she plays, her strong IQ on both ends of the floor. She wants Almquist down low, the go-to, top 3 scorer here in the Ivy. Oh, a nice spin. Smooth score there for Stina Almquist. Second team Ivy last year. This team lost Jordan Obi to graduation. She was first team Ivy, and Stina's had to step up in a leadership role. 7-0 here for Penn to start. Kilgo, wide open. Cash. Azaria Kilgo, not a big three-point shooter. Now 5 for 26 on the early season, but if she's wide open, she'll hit that. Down low, Almquist and Kaus is going to be a really big matchup to watch. Gale wide open on the swing pass, and Penn hitting everything here to start. Matea Gale, the sophomore, came in last year, was asked to play, and you don't see often sophomores coming in off a season where they had so much experience. It's almost the experience of a senior that Gale has. Kilgo just hit a 3 before. Not going to go 2 for 2. Collins over Pate. It's a 10-3 start here for Penn. 4 for 5 from the floor of the Quakers. Sawyer Missed one shot before. She'll force a turnover here on the errant pass to Almquist. Penn goes to their bench. Brooke Suttle will come into the game. The freshman guard, phenomenal high school career. Was a private school champion in Region 5. And now get some minutes here. Not a key player that Penn has seen, but Coach McLaughlin going to the bench. They find Jackson inside. What Angles does well, she works baseline. Oh, Pape. Great pass from Kaus. She was blocked, out of bounds, stays with the big red, and Cornell goes to their bench. It'll be Kelsey Langston, the freshman, into the game. So many underclassmen on this Cornell squad. 4 different freshmen, and really 3 of them get a whole bunch of minutes. That's something Emily Garner has seen, seeing what they have. Really hasn't had her first recruiting class just yet. 5 on the time ticker. Jackson slicing, no dice down low. That rebound went away from Penn. Going to go right back with Cornell. Penn has a lot of size down low. For Suttle, she's at 6 foot. Cornell right now with a lengthy lineup with Kaus and Pape, but very undersized compared to Penn. And Cornell, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, one of the bottom teams in the Ancient 8 in rebounds. Kaus going to work. Bruises. Hook shot. Kisses it in. Smooth move there from Rachel Kaus. Almost 50% inside the arc there for the sophomore, making her 3rd start. Here's Caldwell on the other end. Give it to her. And a timeout called on the Cornell side. So Sanaya Caldwell from downtown, she'll pick up 6 points here to start. And Penn, a firing start in search of their first conference win. They lead. So just 1 week ago, this Penn squad shot 3 for 19 from downtown and 1 for 10 from deep against Dartmouth. They begin 3 for 4 from deep on this 13-5 lead outside of the Cornell timeout. So a lot has changed for their shooting struggles and their defense. They smother on Angles. Jackson holds on with 15 on the tanker. Pape baseline. Finds Kaus on the swing. This zone has caused Cornell a lot of trouble. Angles cross-court pass. Langston a deep 3. Nothing but net. Just the 3rd made 3 of the season for Langston from the parking lot. Cornell needed that. Cornell has brought this press to slow things down for Penn. Penn kind of did it to begin, and Cornell's giving it right back. Sawyer has 6 points, finds Gale, who has 5. The 2 scores here to start. Almquist has been quiet, just with 1 bucket. Pape, the steal. Has a 2-on-1 in favor of Cornell. Jackson under the hoop. Gale jumped over her body. Foul call going to be on the floor. Jackson had that quick pump fake. She's saying she should have just got straight up with the basketball. And Cornell will keep it under the hoop. Just a quick dive under there for Jackson. And couldn't pick it up. Cornell will inbound. Penn back to their bench. Suttle comes out playing some solid minutes for the freshman. Collins, the starter, back in. Pape on Almquist. Great movement. Langston one more time. Not going to go 2 for 2. Cornell, though, finding the open 3, sharing the ball extremely well. Something Emily Garner likes to see, the unselfishness basketball. Caldwell, another 3, in and out. First missed shot of the afternoon for Caldwell. Pape wants her first points. Not going to hit. And Gale, a really good board over Angles. And Angles is not okay under the hoop on the other end. Here comes Penn looking to answer on a 5-on-4. Caldwell can't score. Angles is at half court limping. And they're going to blow a whistle for an injury timeout. Vivian Nee's going to come into the basketball game as a guard forward. And Angles is a player Cornell desperately needs. The freshman right now is playing 30-plus minutes almost every single night in the absence of Parker Hall. And even with Angles being a guard, has involved so much stability for Cornell. So Cornell now without 2 starters that they had just 3 games ago. Langston and Nee both off the bench. They're on that left side of the court. Final 3:10 of this first quarter. Kaus Nice move, couldn't finish. Penn 5 for 8 from the floor. Here's Sarah Miller, the outstanding freshman. Nice take down the lane. Collins gets the board. Diving pass, Caldwell cutting, couldn't hit. And now Penn has gone cold, but their offensive rebounding, there's the rebounding department. Penn is third in the conference in rebounding to where Cornell, bottom half. Gale hesitates. Step back Jay. Pape the board. Pape's going to be the go-to rebounder on Almquist down low. It's a really good test against maybe one of the best players in the Ancient Eights. Cows from the charity stripe. Vivian Nee crashing in like Spider-Man. Clark Jackson wide open. Foul down low. And whistle against Emily Pape. Gives the basketball back to Penn. So Cornell's got their open shots, their fair share, but 20% from the floor here to begin. That's been the big issue, and Emily Pape is a big part of this offense. She's the engine. 0 for 4 right now, but folks, when you look at Cornell's 4 wins, Pape in those wins, 26, 17, and 24 points. The fourth win, she had 3 in the first game of the season, but outside of that, it's been 15-plus for Pape. Here's Ashna Tombe checking in off the bench. Long 2 for the freshman out of Plano, Texas. Jackson on the other end. Nice trailing was Pape, but tough contested shot. The double team there from Tombe the other way. Right around 13 minutes a game for Tombe. Here's Almquist coming off a big performance. 21 points on 40 minutes. No good. Tough start for both stars, Pape and Almquist. $120 here in the first. But Almquist plays so many minutes. Has played 35-plus in 12 of her last 15 games. Langston, corner 3. Just in and out. Coach McLaughlin for Penn said he has to watch Almquist's minutes. Needs her on both sides of the floor. Can't tire her out. Miller can't hit. Both teams have gone scoreless in the last 2.5 minutes. Pape down low changes that. Announcer jinx. But for the Cornell side in their favor, they make it a 3-point game. Paper first points here tonight. Snaps the 0 for 5. Penn breaks the press. Miller, same spot, 0 for 2. And Pape does a really good job on the closeout. Cornell basketball. So after that timeout for Big Red, and even with the Paige Angles injury, she's on the bench right now, stretching out, still in her uniform, so looks to be okay for the most part. But even without all that, Cornell still found a way to crawl back and going on a small little run here to finish off the first. 5-0 run in the last 4:37, even with the lack of scoring. "20-second game clock, 13 shot clock. Right around a 6-second difference. Vivian Nee with 5. Pass down low, intercepted. Kaus on the floor with 2, now 1. Pape chucks up a prayer. Almost banked it in. Shot clock violation. So Penn's got 4.6 to close things out in the first 10 minutes. Strong defense there for Penn. That zone towards the middle is just clogging up the lanes, and Cornell's had a lot of errant passes on that side. But just to their 1 turnover, Penn does have 3. The Quakers head to their bench. Miller back in. Sawyer comes out for offensive purposes in the last 4.6. Going to be a quick shot here for the Quakers. Gale over half court. Knifing to the basket. Mid-range. Not going to be the buzzer beater. So Cornell, a 5-0 run in the last 5 minutes. They cut the lead to 3. And after 1, the Quakers and the Big Red, 3-point game in a 90th all-time meeting. 36 degrees here in Ithaca, drizzle and some snow outside, so why not pack inside Newman Arena? 90th all-time meeting between Penn and Cornell. A lot of fans during the break doing the guessing game on the Jumbotron, trying to find the Tompkins County Trust Bank the logo under the Cornell C. Always a fun game. A lot of the fans won. I unfortunately did not. Cornell's first possession, a 5-0 run to finish off quarter number 1 in the final 5 minutes and 10 seconds. Pape, top of the key three, ties it up. Pape with 5, her first deep ball here of the afternoon. When this team's successful, it's all Emily Pape. She needs pretty much plus 15 to win a basketball game for Big Red. There's Caldwell. She has 2 3-pointers so far. Sawyer as well has found the deep ball. Penn 5 for 16, but they were 5 for 6 to begin. Gale to her knees. 5 on the time ticker. Almquist going to do it herself. Deep 3. Pape in her face. Rattles it home. The 2 stars trading punches to begin in quarter 2. Jackson Aaron pass. Langston has to get it over midcourt. Finally does. And we'll stay with Cornell. No Angles or Kilgo in the game at the moment. 2 of Cornell's 1-2 punch at the guard position. Angles left with an injury. And Kilgo just some rest here to begin in quarter number 2. So Vivian, Nee, and Langston have had the replacements. Langston now off the bench, but she started the first 6 games for Big Red. Pape. Knifing to her left, blocked from Collins. Collins, the freshman, went up top at 6'1". From Manasquan, New Jersey, and Coach McLaughlin talked about the competition she faced in high school. So many big Division I commits. Collins wasn't the best player on the team, but her IQ and her consistency, that's what she's bringing here to Penn, a very historic program. 2 on the shot clock. Jackson has to get it off. She floats it. Shot no good. Penn's second possession here of Q2. Collins backdoor Almquist. Nice possession. Inlet pass and Almquist to the other side. Maybe the smartest player in the Ivy League. And this press causing Cornell so much trouble. Third turnover against Cornell. Penn has 4 here to start. Simone Sawyer, 1 for 4 shooting against Dartmouth, just 2 points. Has a 3-ball, back of the rim, but Collins right in her breadbasket. Gives Penn a new 20. Almquist, great backdoor cut. Nee just got a hand on the basketball. Big Red in transition. Cows fake the deep 2. Cornell 5 for 22 from the floor. Langston misses her fourth 3, made 1 already, and she'll head to the bench. Angles and Kill go back in. Glad to see Angles okay. Got shaken up on a defensive stop, was limping over half court. So Big Red with their starters mostly into the game, but Pape comes out. So Nee and Kaus at the 4 and 5, a smaller rotation with Collins on the floor. Nee's at 5'9", and Collins is 6'1". That's the matchup down low. Tombe, the freshman, back in the game for Penn as well. She is the basketball. Galen Almquist, the 2 top players. Hosting up is Almquist, coming off 40 minutes in the loss against Dartmouth a week ago. Collins double clutches in the air and scores. Makes it look routine. First points for Collins on just her first field goal. Cornell's numbers. Cows wide open for a 2. Big Red can't answer. And now Penn on their own run. 5-0 in the last 2:42. Jackson almost tipped it in the hands of Sawyer. Almquist. Tomboy wanted the rebound. Just there for Angles. It's been a game of runs here to start. Cornell that 5-0 run to finish off quarter 1. And Penn right back here with a 5-0 run of their own. Jackson calling out a play. Off the mark for Jackson. Cornell 1 for 6 here in quarter 2. 5 points for Gale. The sophomore coming off 8 points, but did play 32 minutes against Dartmouth. She's a workhorse for Penn. Finds the kick. Too long for Sawyer. Penn's had the turnovers. They're sixth. Pate back into the game. Does Collins come out? Yes, she does. So a really good switch there for Cornell. Lizzie Gretsch, the senior for Penn, into the game, battling a lot of injuries. But she's been a really big leader, and Coach McLaughlin talked about her. Missing her presence is tough when you're on the bench and trying to be that leader. Just one of two seniors was a big part of Penn's success last year in the round one loss in the Ivy tournament to Princeton. Paper second three. Got some quick Gatorade and hit a three. Cornell cuts it back to a 4-point deficit. Two underclassmen on the court, now three for Penn. They have two freshmen out there for the Quakers. Here's one of them in Sarah Miller. Has played in 15 games, has started 11, but now comes off the bench. Gretsch to her right, Pape the board, batted out of her hands. Cornell gets the basketball. As Collins will check back in, it almost seemed like Coach McLaughlin for Penn saw Pape's three, saw the mismatch, and Collins literally got 30 seconds of water and came right back into the game. 5 minutes left to go in this first half. Saturday Hoops from inside Newman Arena. Both teams in search of their first conference win. Penn has not fallen to 0-2 in Ivy play since 2019. And they're riding that 14-game win streak over Cornell. Angles, hand in her face. Just misses short. Tough start for Angles. 0 for 2 from the floor. Lack of minutes because coming out for that injury. Cornell has stayed in a very base man-to-man defense. We've seen Penn in a lot of zone. Almquist swings it. Caldwell for three. Off the backboard. Cornell won for their last 7 from the floor, but they've kept this at a 4-point game. Some very strong defense for the Big Red, a big part of their identity. Coach Garner says their culture wants to be very tough and be the team that outworks the other. Foul called down low, though, on Kaus. Off ball. And we'll take a short break here. So both teams have gone cold from the floor. Cornell won for their last 7, but only down by 4. Stick with us here on ESPN+. This girl on the right is at 6. Thank you very much. Right for my angle. There's no way she won. Oh, actually, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Penn a 20-16 lead out of the timeout. The final 4 minutes of quarter number 2. Once again, thanks so much for joining us here on ESPN Plus. Cam Manna with you for the action. 90th all-time meeting, 2 just historic programs, but Penn has owned the series, winning the last 14 games. Caldwell still in the basketball game. Penn has really kept their starters. Gale has facilitated well. Almquist, the star player. Top 3 in points per game in the Ivy League. Drives down low is Sawyer. She's fouled. And she'll have 2 chances coming up at the stripe. Simone Sawyer, the junior. Season high 14 points. Came against Columbia. Just 2 double-digit games, but does a lot extremely well and plays a large amount of minutes. 20 minutes per game, but recently has gone towards that 30 mark. Back to Penn as well and what they've done well against Cornell. They've had no problem also inside Newman Arena. Coach McLaughlin is 21-7 against Big Red, and Penn's 22 wins and 12 losses inside Newman. A lot that Cornell understands. That on top of winning your first Ivy game of the season. Hilgo and Angles both in the game. Cornell has 3 of their 5 starters. They have gone to their bench. Lexi Green, the senior, also in for the first time. Kaus lost the basketball. Kilgo a reset here with 5. Spins to her right, ball on the floor. Penn pokes it away. Cornell's 5th turnover. And Sawyer coast to coast. She's fouled. Back to the free throw line. We have really rarely seen any free throws so far this afternoon. Cornell has yet to have a free chance at the line. And this is the 2nd trip on back-to-back possessions for Penn. It's been a very quick first half with a lot of just play on the court and rarely any fouls. We've seen the turnovers, but outside of that, a very clean first half. Back to the bench is Cornell. Lexi Green comes out. Has kind of stepped over with Summer Parker Hall on the injury report. So Green's played a lot more minutes. Played 13 games last year so far this year, making her 6th appearance. As the floor right under the hoop in the restricted circle just getting wiped up. So Penn 8 for 23 on the floor, 34%. They came out to a firing start. But both of these teams, even though very different, Penn known for the Ivy League tournament, Cornell, first-year head coach, very different in that regard. They've had very similar starts in Ivy play. Lack of rebounding, shooting hasn't been there. Cornell's lost 6 of their last 7 games. Had a lone win over Siena on the road, won by 3 in a big clash in Albany. Sawyer's first free throw is good. Connects on the second. So Penn takes a 22-16 lead. Cornell's not been known as a first-half team. They've had a lot of trouble staying close in first halves recently. Angles gets over this press, so where they are right now is some solid striking distance at home. Kaus down low on Almquist. Back to Kaus, nowhere to go. Penn now with a double team in the corner with 5. Hilgo with 2, has to get it up. Acrobatic shot way off the mark. And Penn yet another stop on the defensive side. Cornell has been scoreless the last 3 minutes. Kilgo comes out, and Langston playing a large multitude of minutes here this afternoon. But Cornell not being able to get through the Penn zone. Penn also 1 for 5 on their last 5 attempts. So that's also, both teams have just had a lot of defense in longer possessions. Sawyer's gone to that free throw line. Gale swing around, Collins for 3. Almquist the board. Penn can drain this clock. Sawyer over Jackson. Another offensive rebound. Jump ball. Possession arrow stays with Penn. Penn winning the rebound battle by just 2. But the offensive rebounds, Penn now doing a lot better. They also lead in that category by 2, 8-6. Caldwell to Gale for 3, and she's got it. So Gale back on the board from downtown. She's got 8 points. Her second 3, 2 for 2 from behind the arc. Penn in front by 9 points. It's now their largest lead of the afternoon. Inlet pass Jackson. Angles for 3. Put it through. First points of the afternoon for Angles. Big answer for Cornell. Gretsch to Collins. Baby hook. Bank is open on a Saturday. So here comes the offense out of nowhere. Buck 10 left to go. Knee double teamed. 8-point game. Now Penn in a 3-2 zone. 3 up top, 2 down low. Knee swings it to Angles. Just had the 3 before. Jackson wide open. Answers. It's a game of runs. Hot and cold for either side. Could be Penn's last offensive possession. And then Cornell would have a chance for one shot. Langston the smothering defense. Gale fades. It's an air ball. 1 second difference, shot in game, so Cornell can hold for one shot to finish off this first half. They trail by 6 points. Langston looking towards Emily Garner in her first season for the play call. Langston to Kaus. Kaus with 8. Fades, can't hit. One chance for Penn. Caldwell the other way. To her right side. Gretsch, she was fouled. Langston had her hands up, just too much skin on the arm. And free throws will finish off this first half of play. Caldwell, nice drive. Gretsch, and the clear foul there from Langston. Cornell picks up their 5th foul. But once again, neither team was in foul trouble till the final 4 minutes. Gretsch, first chance is at the line. Hits the first. Both teams sub 35% from the floor. Cornell has surprisingly shot the ball well from 3. 3 for 4 from behind the arc in this second half for a team that just shoots 23% from downtown. And that winds things out for the first half of play. Penn an 8-point lead. Cornell in striking distance. Both teams desperately need this win to find number 1 teams. The identity for Cornell here in 2025 under first-year head coach Emily Garner. They're down 29-21 here at the halftime break. We welcome you back inside Newman Arena. Cam Manna with you and our whole entire crew here on ESPN+. Penn on the other end came out to a firing start, a 13-6 lead. Cornell a 5-0 run. That's been the story. A whole bunch of runs in the first 20 minutes. And Penn finished off that first half on a 4-0 run to control this 29-21 lead. This Cornell squad up and down with a lot of different age gaps. Without Summer Parker Hall, their senior star, Emily Pape the Jr., really the true upperclassman on the court for this team. Both teams will bring out their starting 5s here to begin. No secret there. And Paige Engels still back in the game after the early injury. She'll inbound and about to get you set as the buzzer sounded on the scoreboard, so they'll reset the clock. Edge of your seat, about to get started. And here we go, 20 more minutes to decide which team picking up their first Ivy League win of the new season. Paige Engels with 3 points on 2 attempts from downtown, had a big 3 that cut the Penn lead to 5. Pape wide open under the hoop. What a pass from Kaus. Eyes in the back of her head. Found Pape right under the hoop. Easy bucket, strong start. Pape has 10. The first double-digit score for either side this afternoon is now Pape. Cornell kind of comes out here in more of a 2-3 zone. They were going with a lot of man-to-man. It's almost shaking up Penn here in this first possession. Caldwell can't answer with the three. That was Penn's bread and butter in that first half. A lot of zone defense. Paige Engels, the freshman, a commanding start to her first season at the Division I level. Since she entered this starting role, she has started all of her last 6, right around 8 points per game. Kaus can't muscle down low. Gale, the good defense. And they give it to Penn. Mismatch down low. Gale wins the battle. The sophomore in Gale, strong first half. Still 2 for 2 from downtown. Perfect from that area. Almquist inlet pass. Nice swing. Gale wide open. 3 for 3. That is a textbook possession there from the Quakers. 6 passes lead to a score. 9-point lead. Ties the largest right now for Penn. Neither team has really gone to double digits. Jackson almost had the breakaway. She'll reset. Engels slices. Stays here with Cornell. But outside of Pape with the 10 points, nobody over 3. 3 different scorers at that 3-point mark. Langston, Kilgo, and Engels. So once again, another matchup where Pape is the true controller. Pape muscles down low. Blocking foul goes against Penn. First foul here in this third quarter. 9 combined fouls to finish off that second quarter. First 10 minutes, there was no foul trouble, no free throws until the final 4 minutes of quarter number 2. New 20 on that shot clock. Jackson has 2 points. Kaus, the lefty lay. And Collins, the really good defense. A lot of it doesn't show up on the stat sheet for Collins, but the stops she's getting are phenomenal. And it leads to Penn on the other end. Offensive rebounds. Penn's 8th offensive board. Almquist, another 3. She's not going to miss 2 times in a row. Double-digit lead for Penn. They're up by 12. Here come the Quakers. Big part of their identity is playing very clean basketball and shooting the 3-ball well when they can. You've seen that here in the first 2.5 minutes of quarter number 3. Cornell needs a timeout, and we'll take a short break. Penn 35, Cornell 23, and a strong start for the Quakers on a 6-0 run to begin quarter number 3. For 3, Cornell out of their timeout, and here comes Penn on the road in search of that first Ivy League win. Pape looking to stop the bleeding. Can't hit it home from downtown. Cornell was 3 for 4 from deep in that second. That was just their first attempt from behind the arc here in the third. On Penn's side, they've shot 17 threes here this afternoon, making 7. Gale. First 3 missed for her. She was about to be 4 for 4. That one way long. Gale with 11, Almquist with 10, 2 double-digit scores on the Penn side. 3 points for Engels and Pape, the go-to, with 10. Can Cornell snap this 6-0 run? 10 on the shot clock for the freshman. Long pass, Gale tipped it. Cornell will get 8 on the ticker. Both teams, as we said, back in action on Monday for the Ivy League MLK initiative. Cornell women's hoops on the road. Penn back at home against Harvard. 6 for Engels. To her left. Strong defense from Caldwell, but Engels the tougher take. So that snaps the offer there for Cornell here to begin the third. 10-point lead. Penn just had their largest at 12. Big reason for that is Collins, her ability on the boards. Collins has got 7 rebounds and 3 assists. Gale wanted the cutter. Nobody was there. Almquist has to do it herself with 3. This is what she loves to do, but can't hit. way off the right side of the glass. Right now for Almquist, been in the majority of this game, 24 minutes, coming off 40 minutes in the loss against Dartmouth. Big issue for Penn, according to Mike McLaughlin in his 15th season, is their depth, and he has to go with Almquist. For them to be successful, he needs her both sides of the floor for almost the whole entire game. Angles, looks like she was blocked. Second chance points for Pape, she can't hit. Knee hit the hardwood. 5-on-4 for Penn. Now a 5-on-3 with Jackson behind the formation, and now Cornell has numbers. Jackson coast to coast with the easy lay. Timeout for Penn. We brought up runs, right? Both teams trading it in that department. 6-0 run for Penn. Now Cornell, they go in front with some quick runs of their own. Penn now scoreless for the last 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And Cornell now only down by these 8 points. Transition points for Cornell has also not been a big part of their game. Only 2 fast break points in the loss against Columbia. Right now for Cornell, they have gone way over that number just by a little bit with 3. But moving in transition, a lot of athleticism with a smaller lineup with no Parker Hall. That can work with their athleticism. We'll see what comes up more. Final 5. It's Ivy League Hoops here on ESPN Plus. Out of the media break, and Cornell now down by 8. Penn with that 5-0 run. Cornell comes back with a run of their own. The Quakers have led by as much as 12. Cornell, on the lead side of things, they have not led once this whole entire afternoon. Penn 2 for 6 to begin in the third quarter from the floor. But Gale and Almquist, 2 of them, a big part of the shooting success. A swing to Gretsch. They want Gale on the cut. Can't find her with 5. Miller, deep 3. Connects. Miller coming off the bench. Started the last 11. Now they're using her as that 6th woman. And her first points here this afternoon. Cornell does break the press, though. Kaus double-teamed, lost the basketball. Stays with Big Red. Sarah Miller is an interesting player for this team, and Coach McLaughlin said they love her in that starting role because they needed more scoring in their first 5, but he knows that she's mature enough to also come off the bench, and she's showing that success right there with a big 3. Penn by 11. Kaus falling away, won't matter. Dipping and diving is Kaus. Single digits once again. Kaus back in the starting role. She has 4, replacing Summer Parker Hall, the senior, due to injury. Almquist spinning, fading. Kaus got the board. And Kaus ripping the basketball away. .345 in this third. Neither team has an Ivy win. And you can feel that urgency here late. Kilgo knifing her way in. Kaus got the rebound. And Kaus throwing her elbows around. Gretsch to the hardwood. Whistle blown. And it's going to be a foul that goes against Gretsch on the Penn side. No jump ball. Possession arrow would be to Penn. So Cornell's going to inbound under the hoop. Kilgo heads to the bench. Langston back in the basketball game. Kelsey Langston, another freshman that's played a large amount of minutes. And Emily Garner's asked a lot from her, especially as a facilitator on the floor. There's the other freshman, Ingles, Splash Mountain. Here comes Cornell, their first 3 here in the third. It's a 6-point game. Miller had the 3 before. Cornell's hit 2 threes on some big possessions, just their first here in the third. Almquist, the finger roll. Made it look really easy, and the star player taking over when it matters most. Cornell was just on a 5-0 run for a minute 19. Penn ended that. Jackson, she was blocked. Trailing there was Gale. Aggressive play the other way. Swing pass. Gretsch won't take the open 3. Penn elects to slow. Gale has 11 points, 3 for 4 from deep. Jackson, the best defender on her. But Gale, no problem, just missed the easy layup, and then a foul called. Kaus thought she had the board, and 2 shots coming up here for the Quakers. Both teams go to their bench. Vivian Nee back in, and Caldwell in as well. Look at the foul right here. Gale, just a good move, blowing past Jackson, and Almquist just pushed in the back there from Kaus. Going to be the first foul against Cornell, though, in this third quarter. That has not troubled them whatsoever. 12 points, 6 boards for Almquist. Phenomenal senior season. Has played 35-plus minutes in 12 of her last 15 games. So that's one part of what she does well. But 7 20-plus point games for this senior. Can't make the second at the stripe. 9-point Penn lead. Nee looking to work inside. Had angles. Dangerous pass. A lot of clog down low there from Penn. Cornell will inbound. Have not seen Emily Pape the last few minutes. Seems like Coach Garner saving her for the fourth quarter. Cornell will reset here with 10 on the shot clock. Kaus, a good jab step. Past Almquist. Swirls it home. Kaus stepping up on one of the best defenders in the Ancient 8. She's now got 6 points. Big Red not going away here at home. Here's Brooke Suttle, the freshman, back in the game. Aaron Pass picks up the turnover. 8th TO against the Quakers. They'll go to Collins back in the game, takes out Suttle immediately. Now, this is what you look out for now. Collins in the game with no Pape in the final minute 41. That's a dangerous thing to do for Coach Garner with the ability down low if they want to go to Collins. Puts a lot of work on Kaus on the defensive side. Whistle blown down low against Penn. That's their 4th foul. It also goes against Almquist. Going to be her 2nd foul. Not any major foul trouble just yet. Gives Cornell a quick inbound. Kaus has 4 points here in the third quarter. Langston's played the point. They want Kaus inside. Ingles gets a screen. Under the bucket. With 5. Langston, knee, corner 3. Can't bank it in. Jackson, the phenomenal rebound. They reset. Kaus, big 3. Can't book it home. Under a minute here in the third. Cornell almost had a big answer from behind the arc. They're shooting better than Penn here in the third, just by 2%, 46-44 in that department. Almquist on knee. Blows past her. Can't make the layup. Collins one more. There's the mismatch. The freshman has 6, but has just missed 1 shot from the floor. Right around a 3-second difference shot in game. Cornell can really hold for 1 shot here and make it tough on Penn to finish off here in the third. Big Red 1 for their last 4. But Angles 3 for her last 4 from the floor. Angles with 5. Has 3. Clarkson. Deep 3. Jackson hits it. Are you kidding me? And that winds things down in the third. How about momentum heading to the fourth? Clark Jackson fading away. It's her first 3 of the season as well. And Cornell cuts the deficit. Fourth quarter coming up. You buckle up and stick with us. Right, 6-point game, 10 minutes to decide a winner. Which team is finding their first Ivy League win of 2025? Clark Jackson had the big 3 for Big Red. It was reviewed. She got it off just in time to finish off the third. Almquist, she answers. No shot clock problem there. Almquist from deep. Really strong afternoon for the senior. She's got 16. Cornell broke a 5-0 run, took a 5-0 run. Angles was a big part of it. 3 for her last 4. But just like that, Penn's had an answer on every possession. Jackson inside. That was also her first 3 of this season. She was 0 for 5 prior. Jackson, mid-range. House got the rebound, but stripped away from Gale. Said, give me the basketball. Gale gonna pull up. Doesn't get the friendly bounce. Really strong pull there from Gale on the defensive side. A big part of her game, according to Coach McLaughlin. Just her discipline on the defensive side brings defense into offense. Cornell 4-11. But what a win could do here against a very solid Penn squad. Cows posting up. She's been big in the second half, and that's been her go-to. The swirling lay to her left. 8 points for Cows, and she has 6 all in the second half. Seven-point lead for Penn. Collins in the post. On knee. Knee picks up the foul. Cornell's first here in the 4th. And Collins to the line. That's the really big difference, and that's why Pape's coming into the game. Knee comes out. A big talking point in that third quarter is when Collins is in the game, Pape's really the top defender for Cornell against the size of Collins at 6'1". And both coaches said this week, this game is going to come down to the interior and what is done in the post. Collins, those 9 rebounds, you could see her impact. Penn's head coach and Coach McLaughlin even said that Parker Hall, who's not playing in this game, but Pape, both of them have given them so much trouble over the years. They convert at the line. 47-39, Penn with the lead. Their largest lead has been 12. Cornell has not led this whole entire game, and this almost is a 10-second violation. Big Red just gets it over. House, this time to her right, she's fouled. Hammer down low. That's an IQ play. She's gone to her left, her last 4 attempts, spins to her right, forces a foul. She'll get 2 at the charity stripe. Cows has played a team lead 30 minutes so far. Her 3rd start of the season, replacing Parker Hall, coming off her best game. That was against Columbia, even in the loss, had a team lead 13 points. So a very good tear for Cows to begin here in 2025. 1 for 2 at the line, but Pape towers for the board. Poked out of bounds, Cornell basketball. Just seems like Cornell is right there at every possession. But it's been right around a 6-7 point lead at the minimum for Penn for a lot of this second half. They reset with Jackson. One-handed grab, just holds on at half court by just a few inches. Man, her toe was almost at that boundary line. Tip there at half court, jump ball. Possession arrow is going to stay here with Cornell on a wonky possession. Cornell just held on in time, and Jackson just playing tic-tac-toe at the Cornell C. Referee talking to Coach McLaughlin here. He's pleading that Cornell may have traveled initially having the basketball, rolling there at half court. Going to be a jump ball. Cornell had the arrow. Still that long conversation. 15th season as the head coach. 252 wins as a Penn head coach. Go way back in time. He's the fastest coach at any level to 400 wins. Talks about the history and the legendary career for him, especially with Penn. Ingles had an extra step with the contact. Count it. One more. Cornell cuts it to 5. And Ingles stepping up big. She's got 10. The extra step down low and can convert a 3-point play with the free throw coming up. Really tough take there for the freshman. Injury early on in this game and then picks up a huge opportunity down low. Converts that and one. 4-point game. Closest Cornell has been here in the second half. Almquist, this is a big three. It's no good. Sawyer the rebound, but a quick foul, almost a good foul for Cornell. Jackson held on to her arm. Would have been an easy 2. That's a foul you almost want to give if you're Big Red. Second foul against Cornell, going to be under the hoop. Fouls on the floor. Cornell's taken 3 shots from the floor. No threes here in this fourth quarter. 2 for 3 in that area. They outscored Penn in the third, and so far outscoring the Quakers here in the fourth. A team that's relied a lot on the second half is Cornell. You look at their first half, what they've done in their last 7 games, they have only scored plus 20 in the first half 3 times during the last 7. Gale can't bank the 3. Almquist got the board. Push it on Kaus. Collins on Pape. Pape got hammered in the eye. Collins scores. And Cornell can't toughen out on the possession. Penn back in front with a larger lead. There's that press. Angles on the hardwood. Caldwell takes it away. That's a big momentum switch for a team on the road. Now Caldwell, wide open 3. Back of the rim. But Angles can't get the long board. Ball on the floor. Looked like it was kicked. Foul called. 4 different players on the hardwood. Everybody needed a whistle. And Cornell's going to get that whistle. So a crazy possession. Pape was hit in the eye. Cornell a turnover at half court. They have to wipe up the floor here. And that possession shows you what this game is all about, what it means early on in Ivy League play, just to get and snatch your first Ivy League win. It's not the season by any means, but you don't want to fall to 0-3 super early on. 6-point Penn lead. And a very fast-paced fourth quarter. Cornell's not had a ton of trouble breaking this press, but Penn's had a lot of double teams bothering Big Red. Angles finally gets it over about 8 seconds over the timeline. Pape, big 3. Front of the rim. Pape now 2 for 5 from downtown, 10 points. Cornell's not won a game, only one game, when Pape scores under 15. Gale makes it look routine. This press can slow down the basketball game. Angles to Jackson, they get it over. Vivian Nee waits to check in for Cornell. As well as Lizzie Gretsch on the Penn side, the senior guard. Jackson wide open. Way short. So Cornell now 1 for their last 5 from the floor after the big threes and the and 1 from Paige Angles. Things have quieted down. Gale stepping up here late. Slicing and dicing. Gale with 15 points, the team's second leading scorer with Almquist. Pape the other way, 5 minutes left to go. 2 minutes of scoreless basketball now for Cornell, just like that, how this game has swung, a 10-point Quakers lead. No interior pass just yet. Angles to the paint. High, teardrop. Collins the board. That's the story of this afternoon's game. A lot of runs, inconsistency on either side. Gale those 15 points, season high of 20. That came in late November. Has a chance to match that or break that here in this one. Her non-dominant side. Step back J. In and out. Whistle blown. Cornell basketball. And this will take us to the media break. So Cornell, it was a 4-point game, back to a 10-point game. How does Big Red crawl back? Win number 1. The Quakers on a 6-0 run to take this 10-point lead. Cornell cut the deficit to 4. They have not led all afternoon, and the Quakers have just turned it on when it's mattered here down the stretch. A 9-6 team in hopes of their first conference win. As we've mentioned all afternoon, they have not began 0-2 since 2019. And Cornell looking for an upset here inside Newman Arena. Going to learn a lot here in the next 2 minutes. Cornell looking to cut this deficit quickly. Angles has been a big part of their success. Back down the lane. Angles, highlight reel. 13 points for Angles. Had an and one before. Man, she is 4 for her last 5 from the floor. Turning it on here in the fourth. But what a big game for Almquist. This is where she turns things on, according to Coach McLaughlin, the closer. She's got 16, looking for 18. Bruising, fading, can't bank it in. Angles the rebound over the 5'10 Gretsch. Angles fouled. 2 shots coming up for the freshman. Paige Angles, since being in his starting role, about 8 points per game in her last 6 starts. 4 double-digit games, now make it 5 for Angles. And her ability down the lane, that maturity for a freshman. Coach Garner said the expectation for Angles was to play, but the amount she's playing is definitely unexpected for a first year. Can't hit the first free throw. Her coming out party was way back early on in the season. First home game against Binghamton. She showed her crafty ability, goes 1 for 2 at the line. 53-46, a Quakers lead in the 90th all-time meeting. Gale, that was a kicked pass. House, almost like a soccer goalie there. She'll reset everything under the hoop. Not trying to give Penn easy points under the rim. Penn has their starting 5 on the floor. They're going to head to their bench, though, right on cue. Sarah Miller, she started the last 11 games, takes out Sawyer. She's back into the game as that 6th woman off the bench. But she is no slouch. The freshman hit a big 3 earlier, her only points. Gale to her left. She lost the basketball. Kilgo the defense. Kilgo, that starting guard, just 17 minutes here. 3 points on 1 for 4 shooting for the sophomore, but her defense, she's an aggressor all 94 feet. Miller, open 3. Knee got a hand on it, and that shot was short. Looked like it was just tipped from knee. Cornell looking for an answer. They're 1 for their last 4 from the floor, but they did snap that 6-0 run for Penn. No Emily Pape, the leading scorer for Cornell all night in the game. She now has 10. Angles has taken over. 8 on the time ticker. Kilgo has to go to work. Right side take. Over Almquist. Shot is short. Gale over midcourt, and you wonder, when does Pape come back into the basketball game for Big Red? That size differential with Collins down low on Knee and Kaus. Knee right here on Almquist. Gale's got 15, not going to be 17. Jackson, the long rebound, picks it up. 2:20 left to go. Big Red has not led all afternoon here at home. Kaus, big 3, book it! Back to a 4-point game is Cornell. That full court press. Poked away, Knee's going to get a foul. Everybody on the Cornell bench about to erupt. They thought it was a steal. Cornell's 3rd foul, 2nd personal there on Knee. Sarah Miller out of the game. Caldwell back in on the side of Penn. Cornell has not brought this press often, but they bring it after big makes to shift momentum. A team's identity under first-year head coach Emily Garner is toughness. Under 2 minutes. Going to be a loud finish here between Penn and Cornell. Clock is the best friend of Penn. Gale is showing that here on Kilgo. Almquist, 2nd team All-Ivy, could be 1st team here this season. They find her down low. She lost the basketball, out of bounds. Cornell takes it. What a shift it's been, and Emily Pape comes back in at the perfect time if you're a Big Red fan. 6-0 run for Cornell. Penn had their own 6-0 run. This game has been drawn up exactly how it was planned to be. A lot of runs between either side, but it matters here which team finishes on the big run. $120. Pape had a step, lost the basketball. Angles, Pape, under the hoop, a big 2. 2-point game, the closest Cornell has been this whole entire contest. Cornell was down by as much as 12 points here against the Quakers. 15th season head coach Mike McLaughlin has seen it all. He says slow it. Gale, the sophomore, knifing to her right. She's fouled. Angles can't believe it. And Gale with 2 big free throws coming up for the sophomore. Gale's got 15 points. Her first trip to the charity stripe. We'll look at it one more time. They wait till 10 seconds on the shot clock, and Gale just bruising down low the tough take. Cornell fans get loud here on the first free throw. Connects is Gale. She has started every game but one so far this season. Started all 28 as a freshman. Jordan Obi, who graduated, was a big part in helping Gale grow very early on in her career. She'll make both. Timeout is called for Cornell. 55-51, a Penn lead in the final 44 seconds of this basketball game. We'll look at some of the games coming up for either side, and we'll start here with Penn. A long road trip. On MLK Day for the MLK Initiative, they're at home against Harvard for that matinee on Monday, but then 4 straight on the road. Princeton, 17th in the country, they'll finish off with that. Columbia, also a top 2 team they'll face off against. Yale and Brown towards the bottom, but all they care about is this one. And for Cornell, also a road trip. 4 of their next 5 on the road. They'll be back in this gym next Saturday against Princeton for the second time in 4 Ivy League games against the number 1 team in the Ivy League. They'll face off against Brown on the road come Monday, and then 3 against Dartmouth, Harvard, and the Bulldogs, all away from this gym. Big possession here, 44 seconds remaining. Pape's got 12. Here's Kilgo to Kaus. Kaus spinning, faking. No foul called. Collins snatches the rebound. And then a jump ball called as Angles was hit in the nose. Kaus was clubbed at the last second down low on the rebound. Phenomenal rebound there from Collins. We'll look at it one more time. Kaus got it. And Collins is trying to snatch the basketball away. Emily Garner talking to the referees, once an elbow. It's just an aggressive play down low between both sides. Collins trying to hold on. It's going to be a Cornell foul. Going to go against what looks like Kaus here. Referees are going to look at it as well. 55-51. Cornell, it's going to be their 5th foul at the moment. Penn has 5 as well. That was such a crucial possession. Now Cornell has to come out here with defense. 36 seconds, 30 on the shot clock. So just that 6-second differential. Almquist, the good defense on the backside of that. Collins, the rebound. Kaus did get over the back initially with that right hand. Then Collins swung. But if that foul was initially on Kaus over the back is what it looked like, that's where the play stops. Collins could also pick up a foul after the play. But Kaus did have that over the back there to begin. Still waiting on to see the final foul call and if they'll even pick up Collins with one as well. But Kaus picked up for the foul there in the final 36 seconds. Penn won for their last 5 at the floor. Cornell cut it to a 2-point game, the closest they have been. But Big Red is not led all afternoon. Full official review right now to see on what that foul is fully going to be. Does Collins pick one up as well? But Collins picks up her 10th rebound, and she's been a rebounding machine. her sixth double-digit rebound game, has 3 double-doubles. If she scores one more point, she picks up a double-double, and she could be heading to the free throw line very soon. A lot of waiting on here. Everybody on the edge of their seat to see what the call was going to be on how it affects either side. Emily Garner gets the chat from one of the referees. From our vantage point, looked like Kaus over the back foul, and then Collins, the swing at the last second. It could really go either way, but the first initial foul looked like on Rachel Kaus, who's had a phenomenal afternoon, 12 points in back-to-back starts on 4 rebounds. Would be her second. Cornell, though, not a bad game top to bottom. 3 players in double-digit scoring. They have not shown that much throughout this season. So call will stand. Common foul against Kaus. Puts Collins at the free throw line. Collins needs 1 make for a double-double and can extend this lead. To make it a 5-point game, stays at 4. Vivian Nee wanted to check in. She'll have to wait one more shot here. Looks like she's taken out Emily Pape. Pape would come out in the final 36 seconds. Second one is a make. And a timeout called for Coach Garner and Big Red one more time. So 56-51. This is where you play a lot of math here down the stretch. Cornell needs the quick bucket. They don't really have fouls to give here down the stretch. 5 fouls. So you're going to put Penn at the free throw line. So this is where you need big shots quickly and you need misses. You have to play time of possession. And believe it or not, you'll need some luck here down the stretch. Penn still 1 for their last 5 at the floor, but they've got to the free throw line. Cornell misses on that last possession. You look at this second half, though. Cornell outscored Penn in the third quarter by 2. They're outscoring Penn here in the fourth by 1. It was just a lopsided second quarter of play where Penn outscored Cornell 16-11. That's going to be the box score part of this game that Emily Garner is going to look at. Just the final 4 minutes of the second quarter where things went downhill for Big Red. We mentioned them back in action against Brown on Monday. Cornell would fall to 0-3 if they can't crawl back here. 3 winless teams at the moment here in the Ivy, Yale, Penn, and Cornell. Cornell would stay as at least one of the 2 teams. And Penn would get back on track, and a team that has lost a lot of players due to graduation, Jordan Obi being that top player, first team All-Ivy. But their hope is still to get back to the tournament and keep the winning tradition going. Cornell will have the basketball. They advance it over half court right in front of their bench. Rachel Kaus back on the floor, has her nose plugged. It was bleeding after that possession. Angles with 34 seconds left to go now. Kilgo. Pape for 3. Can't hit. Jackson can't find the rebound, but she kicked it out to Kilgo. 3-second difference, shot in game. Cornell needs a quick shot. Pape pump fakes the 3. Here's one from Jackson. It's an air ball. Almquist the rebound, and the Quakers will pretty much dribble things out. Cornell will foul one more time, and Penn 10 seconds away from their first Ivy League win of 2025. It was a back-and-forth battle led by a bunch of runs, but Penn holds on down the stretch, and their top player, Encina Almquist, will close it out at the free throw line. She's got 16. And also 10 rebounds for the senior, a double-double. Timeout going to be called here as well. Penn is going to take one. They want to reset after this miss or make and probably bring a full court press. They also don't want to foul. Both teams being put in that bonus. So Cornell will get another possession coming up. They're going to need a very quick 3. Pape missed that 3. If she made it, would have been 25 seconds left to go. Cornell would have had themselves a chance to foul and hope for some Penn misses. But 6-point lead here for the Quakers. 3 scores in double digits. Gale with 17, Almquist, with 17, and Collins with 10 of her own. Will be win 253 at Penn for Coach McLaughlin as well. Almquist, second one misses. Shot clock dark. 6-point game. Cornell needs a 3. Kilgo had it poked away, and the Quakers will dribble things out. They come on the road. They extend the win streak against Cornell to 15. In the 90th all-time meeting, Quakers are victorious. 57-51 is the final. Cornell falls to 4-12, 0-3 in Ivy play, and Penn to 10-6, 1-2 in Ivy League play. Our player of the game interview coming up here on ESPN Plus. Stick with us. We'll break down all the action. Penn victorious here from Newman Arena.